The folding chair scraped against the kitchen wall when they handed it to me. The metal legs wobbled, one side uneven, as if it had been plucked from a storage closet at the last second. The fiancé's voice carried the sweetness of venom. "It's just for plus ones." I looked past her, into the reception hall. Rows of polished mahogany chairs faced the altar, lined in ivory ribbon. Every guest had a seat. Even my ex, sitting smug, well-dressed, next to people who still smiled at him as if nothing had ever happened. And me? Pushed against the kitchen doors. Disposable. My brother's fiancée tilted her chin higher, daring me to argue. I didn't. I only let the silence stretch, picked up the gift bag I had brought, and turned toward the door. "Plus one this," I murmured, barely loud enough for her to hear. The words lingered. She smirked, thinking she had won. But when I walked away, I felt the burn of eyes following me. Chairs scraping. A murmur through the room. And then, his footsteps. My brother, running after me in front of everyone. It hadn't always been this way. He used to be my anchor. The one person who saw me, who shielded me when others didn't. Blood should have meant loyalty. But loyalty has a way of breaking quietly, like glass in the dark. I noticed the cracks long before tonight. It started with the small things, missed calls, excuses, his fiancée's laughter cutting me off mid-sentence, her subtle jabs that passed as jokes, and him smiling at them, letting them land. At first I thought it was distance, growing pains, his life shifting into hers. But distance doesn't explain secrets, like why my ex still circled family events, why he was invited tonight, seated proudly at the front, while I was pushed to the shadows, why whispers hushed when I entered rooms. I swallowed them down for months, but I kept my eyes open, and I started to notice the patterns. The late-night messages, his fiancée's careful avoidance whenever my ex was near. The way my brother's gaze slipped away whenever the three of us occupied the same space. Something was rotting at the core, and I knew if I waited long enough, it would surface. I didn't confront them immediately. Confrontation gives power away. Instead, I moved quietly, methodically. I pulled bank records, travel receipts, tiny digital footprints no one bothers to erase. I wasn't looking for proof of cheating. That was too obvious, too easy. What I found was worse. My brother's fiancée wasn't just tangled with my ex, she was entangled financially. A joint account, money moving between them under the pretense of event planning. And my brother, blind, willfully or otherwise. He wasn't marrying her, he was buying into their scheme. They wanted him for what he had, the family's business, the inheritance, the name. He was their prize, and I was the one obstacle they needed to erase. The folding chair wasn't about humiliation, it was strategy. Diminish me, isolate me, make me small. But I don't shrink, I sharpen. When my brother ran after me, it wasn't out of guilt, it was fear. He saw what I carried in my eyes, the weight of something he couldn't yet name. "Wait," he said, grabbing my arm outside the hall. His voice was low, strained. "Please don't make a scene." I turned slowly, my gaze cool. "You've already made one for me." His grip loosened. He searched my face, trying to read whether I knew. I let the silence break him. From my purse, I slid the folder free. Neat, thin, devastating. Bank records, transfers, emails printed in black and white. Her name, tied to my ex's account. Their laughter caught in words meant for secrecy. I handed it to him without expression. "Your bride," I whispered. He flipped through the pages, his face blanching, the realization crawling over him like fire. His lips parted, but no sound came. Inside the hall, music swelled, laughter rose. The wedding marched on, blind. But outside, my brother's world collapsed. He begged me not to tell. His voice cracked, desperation raw. But I had already told him. That was enough. Revenge doesn't need volume, it needs precision. So I turned, walked back through the reception doors, and placed the folder on the gift table, nestled among wrapped boxes and glittering bows. A gift, after all. Guests saw it, hands reached, pages unfolded, and like a ripple, the truth spread. Her smile froze mid-laugh. My ex went pale. My brother staggered inside just as the whispers grew teeth. The fiancé's shriek cut through the music, denial spilling, but the evidence was already in their hands. And me? I simply walked to the exit, leaving the storm to devour them. Later, I sat in my car, the night pressing against the windows. My phone buzzed with missed calls, messages, desperate attempts to pull me back. I didn't answer. There was no pity left, no ache, only clarity. They had tried to erase me, to fold me into a chair by the kitchen, like I was nothing. But I am not nothing. The one who sees, the one who waits, the one who strikes when silence cuts deepest. Their wedding became their undoing, and I walked away with everything they thought I lacked: dignity, control, and the truth. The last thing my brother saw, as I disappeared into the night, was me turning once, calm and detached, not to forgive, not to save, but to remind him, I never collapse.